আসসালামু আলাইকুম সুধী দর্শক আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আমাদের আজকের ইয়োর ফাইন্যান্স উইথ মুহিম তানজিবে। আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে আমরা চেষ্টা করি পার্সোনাল ফাইন্যান্সের বিভিন্ন বিষয় তুলে ধরার, ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল অ্যাওয়ারনেস ক্রিয়েট করার এবং ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল এডুকেশনকে প্রমোট করার। এই অনুষ্ঠানে কল টেলিফোন অথবা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপের মাধ্যমে আপনাদের সরাসরি অংশগ্রহণকে আমরা স্বাগত জানাই। আপনারা স্ক্রিনে যে নাম্বারটি দেখতে পাচ্ছেন সেই নাম্বারে কল করলে আপনারা আমাদের সাথে সরাসরি কথা বলতে পারবেন। আমাদের গেস্টদেরকে কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে সেগুলো আপনি করতে পারবেন, অথবা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপেও আপনারা মেসেজ পাঠিয়ে আমাদেরকে কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে সেগুলো করতে পারেন। অনুষ্ঠানের সময় যদি আমরা সেই প্রশ্নের উত্তর দিতে নাও পারি, আমরা চেষ্টা করি সবসময় অনুষ্ঠানের পরে হলেও সেই প্রশ্নগুলোর উত্তর দিয়ে দিতে। শুরুতে একটা কথা জানিয়ে দিতে চাই যে এই ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল এডুকেশন মূলক প্রোগ্রামে আমরা কোনো অ্যাডভাইস দেওয়ার কোনো স্কোপ নেই। যে তথ্যগুলো আপনারা জানতে পারবেন সেগুলোকে শুধু তথ্য হিসাবে নেবেন, অ্যাডভাইস হিসাবে নয়। কারণ অ্যাডভাইস দেওয়ার আগে আমাদের ক্লায়েন্টদের অনেক পার্সোনাল ব্যাপারে আমাদের কথা বলতে হয়, জানতে হয়, বুঝতে হয় অ্যাডভাইস দেওয়ার আগে। এই জন্য যে সমস্ত তথ্য আপনারা জানতে পারবেন সেগুলোকে তথ্য হিসাবেই নেবেন। তো বরাবরের মতো আজকের অনুষ্ঠানে আমাদের দুইজন অতিথি আছেন। অন মাই লেফট হ্যান্ড সাইড উই হ্যাভ সিদ্দিকুর রহমান জয়নাল, আমাদের অত্যন্ত পরিচিত মুখ। উনি একজন প্রপার্টি ইনভেস্টর। অলসো হি হ্যাজ আদার বিজনেস ইন্টারেস্ট অ্যান্ড ইনভলভ উইথ আদার সোশ্যাল অ্যান্ড চ্যারিটেবল অ্যাক্টিভিটিস। আসসালামু আলাইকুম জয়নাল ভাই, ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য শো।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। We also have Mr. Suhail Khan. Suhail is also a familiar face. He has been to the show before. Suhail is a mortgage and protection advisor and expert in all types of residential and commercial mortgages. Welcome to the show, Suhail.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, বিশ্ববিখ্যাত ইনভেস্টর ওয়ারেন বাফেট একবার বলেছিলেন, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. ঝুঁকি তখনই আসে যখন আপনি অনিশ্চয়তার মধ্যে থাকেন বা আপনি জানেন না আপনি কি করছেন। জীবনের প্রতি ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু ঝুঁকি থেকেই যায়। আমরা যদিও রিস্ক বা ঝুঁকিকে আমরা এড়িয়ে চলতে চাই বা ইগনোর করতে চাই, কিন্তু রিস্ক আমাদের কখনোই পিছু ছাড়ে না। বাট সেই রিস্ককে মিটিগেট করারও কিন্তু অনেক উপায় আছে, সেই রিস্ককে কাভার করারও কিন্তু অনেক উপাদান রয়ে গেছে। আমাদের আজকের টপিক, ইয়োর ফাইন্যান্স উইথ মুহিম তানজিবের আজকের টপিক ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল প্রোটেকশন। এই ব্যাপারে আমরা একটা অনুষ্ঠান করেছি গত সপ্তাহের আগের সপ্তাহে। আজকে তারই ধারাবাহিকতায় আজকে এই অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল প্রোটেকশন ব্যাপারে কথা বলতে চাই। কারণ গত সপ্তাহে সব কিছু কাভার করা সম্ভব হয়নি, এই জন্য আমরা এই ব্যাপারে কথা বলবো। এছাড়াও আমাদের যে প্রপার্টি এক্সপার্ট আছেন, আমরা প্রত্যেক পর্বেই প্রপার্টি নিয়ে কথা বলি, মর্গেজ নিয়ে কথা বলি। আমরা যে আমাদের কালচার হচ্ছে উই লাভ ব্রিক অ্যান্ড মোর্টার, so we talk about properties every episode, and this episode there will be no difference. So Siddiqur Rahman bhai, he will, as a property investor, he will share his expertise and his experience, and we'll also ask him what his advice would be to upcoming property investors. Apart from that, obviously we have Suhail Khan here, a mortgage advisor. Every episode we bring a mortgage market update. গত 2 সপ্তাহে প্রপার্টি মার্কেটে কি হয়েছে না হয়েছে তার একটা আপডেট আমরা প্রতি সপ্তাহে নিয়ে আসি। তো সুহেল খান সে ব্যাপারে আমাদেরকে একটা আপডেট দিবে। তো যেরকম বলছিলাম, আপনাদের যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে সেগুলো আপনারা টেলিফোনের মাধ্যমে আমাদেরকে করতে পারেন, আমরা সেই প্রশ্নগুলোর উত্তর দিতে চেষ্টা করব। তাহলে আর কথা না বাড়িয়ে চলুন আজকের অনুষ্ঠানের মূল অংশে চলে যাই। First of all, I would like to ask our guest Siddiqur Rahman Jainal bhai, obviously you are a property investor, so can you tell us about your property journey and your investment into properties and what inspired you to start investing in properties, please?
Thank you very much for inviting me in your show today. Actually, my background has come from, actually I'm a caterer actually. I had a restaurant business very, very early age of mine. So basically 1989 I started my restaurant business, and I did this for first 10 years, and then I diversified to properties, right, because my aim was to do some properties, and so I started properties with the small properties, and then slowly I have buying and selling the properties and making the profit from the selling. and also I had my restaurant business as well. So basically, I start building my portfolio mainly from 2000 after 2008 when the credit crunch was happening. This is where I start doing it.
Oh,
my portfolio was built. So before I had a lot of properties as well, but mainly I built it from 2008 onwards. So my expertise is same like all the other investors as well. As you know, the property investment it's not very hard job. It's always about calculating how you're gonna make a business structure. So what is your aim and how you're gonna do it? There's a few ways to do in a property business. Whether you buy it and sell it, that's one way, which is you can make quick money, or you keep the property and put it in the letting market. It's called buy-to-let business. So I did both of them. So at the end I stick with the buy-to-let business because for the rental income. And it's not only the buy-to-let.
So your strategy is mainly to buy and hold.
Yes.
You don't very,
No, I do sometimes I do, but not every time. So I keep most of the property. I kept it now, but my main is for my rental income. So that's the thing. But then again, when you have a bigger portfolio of properties, then you have to do a structure that and strategy which is. It might the property value might go up and might go down as well.
Of course.
But it depends how you're going to buy it. If you buy it from below the market value properties, at least you need to do something like 30,000 £30,000. You have to look for those properties. You have to go to see.
As the saying goes, you make profit in property when you actually buy, not when you sell.
No, that's it. You have to make the profit.
You have to buy at a good price.
Buying is the most important. When you buy it, if you can buy it 20, 30, 40,000 below the market value, and then you put it to the buy-to-let, you let it out, do the property properly, and then you can see it might be not 30,000, you might make 70,000 pounds.
No, brilliant. Property. Thank you so much. Interesting. Coming back to you again, Sathe Agamir bhai. Also, I would like to know how around 2008, 2009, how the days were. When mortgage was very difficult to obtain, isn't it? Before I go and talk to you about that, I would like to ask Suhail Khan. So Suhail, we were talking about protection last episode, and we have known about private medical insurance. So just briefly, দর্শক যারা গত পর্বের অনুষ্ঠান হয়তো দেখতে পারেননি, প্রাইভেট মেডিকেল ইন্স্যুরেন্স আমাদের যে এক্সপার্ট ছিলেন তিনি বলেছিলেন যে প্রাইভেট মেডিকেল ইন্স্যুরেন্সের মাধ্যমে আপনারা ন্যূনতম একটা প্রিমিয়াম দিয়ে এই ইন্স্যুরেন্সটা করলে আপনার জিপির অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট নিয়ে কোনো চিন্তা করতে হবে না, কারণ আপনি ইনস্ট্যান্টলি জিপির অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট পেয়ে যাচ্ছেন, অথবা কোনো জটিল অথবা কোনো ধরনের রোগ তার চিকিৎসা করতে হলে ইন্স্যুরেন্স কোম্পানি কিন্তু সেই চিকিৎসার ব্যয়ভার তারা বহন করে। সো দ্যাট ওয়াজ প্রাইভেট মেডিকেল ইন্স্যুরেন্স pay for all kinds of medical expenses in the event of illness. Also, we talked about income protection last week, and our expert was explaining how incomes are available. So if you'd like to touch on that a little bit, please, income protection, because for the time constraint, we couldn't explain everything
absolutely.
properly.
Income protection is very important. Like for example, if in the family, if it's only one breadwinner, and they have like 2-3 dependents. So what happen in income protection, for example, unfortunately, so many things happen in people's lives, and after COVID, we are more, concerned about our health, and if the life is very already, health and life is very unpredictable. If someone goes through, like for example, illness, or unable to go to work, so it's a major impact if they have 3 or 4 dependents, and he's the only person a breadwinner or working. So at least with income protection, what happen is they pay you just a monthly some part of your income to just meet your standard of living, and just to cover any sorts of bills or rent or whatever the expense you pay on monthly basis. So the income protections, it varies with a different provider, So
and also it's so important for self-employed
absolutely
people, isn't it? Small business owners or medium-sized business owners even, because if you are at work, if you are in employment, normally if you get sick or for accident illness, your employer would have to make the payment. There are some statutory laws that you are covered. But if you are a business owner, who's going to pay when you are ill and you can't earn money?
So business owner more vulnerable as compared to employee. So it's a very important to have. This is a very important part of your life, I would say, because when there are 4 dependents, how they're going to survive? If they have kids like under age of 10, 8, and they can't work, and on top of that, if they have spouse and they are unable to work, so income protection is the main important element which would cover the monthly outgoings or any expense and keep them and avoid any unnecessarily or unpredictable scenario occurs.
Fantastic. I think you explained it well, and obviously we are continuing this conversation from last week. Also 2 important elements or basic element of protection. One of them is life insurance.
Life insurance,
if you can explain, I think everybody knows what life insurance is, but if you can explain briefly and in what circumstances, what it can be, what can the life insurance policy cover, and how it can be beneficial for our viewers.
Thank you. As compared to income protection, life important is, I would say, most important element, because most of our people they use life insurance just to cover their mortgage balance. So how life insurance works? Life insurance policy works. Unfortunately, we believe in that we all have to go from this world. When someone must is
there is no other way.
So when someone passed away, and then life insurance policy implements, and they pay you the lump sum.
Lump sum
and with the for the short. So with that lump sum, because mainly they use for the mortgage to clear mortgage balance, so they can, with the help of the lump sum, they can clear their mortgage balance.
Exactly. So mainly it's used for to pay off any mortgage, but it doesn't have to be. So if someone doesn't have a mortgage, can they have a life insurance? Of course they can. And with the proceed, so when someone is like, if I pass away tomorrow, the life insurance payout, my family can do whatever they want with that money. So it could be paying for education for your children,
for debts, and funeral cost as well. So it's basically,
even though there are funeral policies
available as well. So it's just mainly something happens to the main individual, the policy holder, so then their loved ones won't suffer.
And quickly, life insurance obviously normally is term policy. Like
term policy,
it can be 25, 30, 40 years
40
term.
years,
But also life insurance can be whole of life.
Whole of life as well.
Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So whole of life, how it covers, it goes until you are alive, until you pass away, whenever that is. So there is no certain sort of term. And the life policies, as you mentioned, 25, 30 years based on their mortgage term. And whole of life, it is very important. If someone can, it's slightly expensive than the life policy, but I have noticed, people more and more after COVID.
And whole of life, some people say it's a saving policy. How is it saving policy? Because after whole of life policy, it pay out korbo whenever you die. So it could be tomorrow. So monokoroka, ami whole of life policy ekta loilam for 500,000. ঠিক আছে? আর আমি tomorrow মারা গেলাম। অথবা আমি মারা গেলাম আজ থেকে 50 বছর বাদে। Doesn't matter whenever that is, এই policy 500,000 আমার family রে দিলাইবো। ঠিক আছে? But because there must be a payout, normally the premium is normally higher. So monokoroka life insurance or policies would be 25-30 pound monthly, whole of life or policy with 100-200-500 whatever after decide korta parba. It depends on the health condition and the age and everything. So the older you are, normally whole of life policy is actually more expensive with any life insurance policy anyway. But why it's called savings policy is because afne mone koro ka 500 hono bala ba ekta khota di dilam 200 hono bala afne premium dila with that whole of life policy, and then I pass away after 10, 20, 30 years. Policy ta jodi apne if you create a trust and put the proceed of that policy into a trust, that can go into my beneficiary without any tax implication. So we know that life IHT tax is 40%.
40%,
but if you have a whole of life policy, monokoroka 500,000, and then I pass away tomorrow or in 50 years time, whenever that is, and the proceed, that 500,000 then goes into that trust that I have created beforehand for my beneficiaries, i.e. my children or whoever. That 500,000 then goes to my beneficiaries free of charge.
Free of charge. They don't pay any tax on it.
They don't pay any tax on it. So this is why it's called a saving policy.
Saving policy.
So this is a very important point. So normally people create this to reduce their IHT bill or to cover any liabilities, maybe IHT or properties the ogular IHT bill diba lagi. So this is what we wanted to touch on and discuss for our viewers. So দর্শক আপনারা যদি ব্যাপারে আরো কোনো কোয়েশ্চন থাকে অথবা যদি প্রপার্টি ব্যাপারে বা মর্গেজের ব্যাপারে কোনো কোয়েশ্চন থাকে, এভরি এপিসোডও আমরা এই ব্যাপারে আলাপ করি মর্গেজের ব্যাপারে, আপনারা আজকেও কোয়েশ্চন করতে পারবা। সো কামিং ব্যাক টু ইউ সিদ্দিকুর রহমান ভাই, মার্কেট ইনসাইট. So obviously you are a property investor, an experienced property investor. You run a estate agency as well. You have a large property portfolio all across the country. How do you identify potential properties that will yield good returns, and what key factors do you consider normally before you invest in property?
Yep. So basically, when you buy a property, the first thing is instant you check what the yield will be first. If the yield is below 6%, it's very low. If it goes below 5%, you shouldn't be touching it. But anything below 7% is really good. So this is all depends on your buying. So what you buy and what you spend in the property, that has to be calculated. And then the rental income, obviously, it comes the market value of the rent of this area. So first, when you make a plan how much I'm going to spend on this price I'm buying and what's this rental I will get. So it will make, then you can find out exactly what's the
and also
is coming. So that's the one side of it. You have to be very cautious on that. And second thing is, if there's a two thing in the property business is a rental appreciation and a capital appreciation. So whether you go for capital appreciation, you don't worry about the rental because you are more interested on that. So that's because you are buying it cheaper, you want to do it up and just sell it and get the money back. So this is one way. And if you're doing a rental property, then obviously you have to calculate the appreciation of rental and also capitalization as well. So what your growth will be and what is your rental will come in. So that has to be very well calculated. So once a lot of people they do this way, it's I don't think so they can be wrong. But as you know, bricks and mortar is it never let you down. It all depends how you're going to manage it and how you're going to keep it. Obviously, you might see your property value will go very high, might maybe go to 300,000, but this same property value might come down to 250,000. You might lose 250,000 citizens, but it all depends how you're going to keep it. If you keep the property and if you're getting your rent keep on coming in, then it's fine. If you think about now, at the moment from 2022, we had a big economic downturn, and the interest rate is just jumped up to 5% from 1%, 5.25 to 1%. But if you go back like 20 years ago, the interest rate was 17%. But if you think now, today's 5.
But the property prices weren't as high though.
Yeah, property prices gone up. But if you think about the interest rate, still cheaper than 20 years ago, 5.25. But it's not actually. If you think about it, it's still the same as 17%. Because when the interest rate was 17%, the house price was 30,000 pounds.
Exactly.
25%. If you equate this, you are paying 17% of the interest. So this is small things you have to calculate every time, and you have to be cautious on that. If you have very downturn in the, I mean, like on pandemic, like ourselves as a landlord, we have a big portfolio. We lost a lot of rent on that. But we had a very proper...
The tenants not paying the rent because obviously they don't have any earning.
We had a and we always do a calculation of what's the interest rate. If the interest rate hits to 8-10%, how are we going to sustain on the rental market? How are we going to sustain our property? So this is all you have to think about.
And also to get the yield, you know, obviously, do you also look for, you know, so for example, rental, after ekhano high enough hoibo kina, ita afne dekhba lagi monohoroka kyal kore nije university ase kina, how far is it
definitely.
from? Location is important, isn't it?
Location is very important. So if you want to get
a cheap failam kori doroka ekano gya monja jaga kinlam je normal tenant milen na
sir. But nowadays if you buy anywhere jekono jaga to loile
ekhon population
you will get. So but depend if you go somewhere
cloud has its silver lining.
If you go to Middlesbrough something like kono area gele Middlesbrough County Durham somewhere, then you have to be very careful. I had a lot of property on that side, so you have to be careful on that side. The rental is still is not very good, but normally if you come to London or in Midlands,
আপনার তো অনেক ইনভেস্টমেন্ট আছে নর্থে দি আমি জানি তো অনেকে আমি দেখছি ইনকু খে কইলা বার্নলি বা ইউ নো উইদাউট স্পেসিফাইং এনি নেম অফ এনি এরিয়াস ইউ নো 30-40,000 এখনো প্রপার্টি মিলের কোন কোন জায়গা আছে ইলা
15,000 মিলে
15,000 মিলের সো ইতারে আপনি কিলা দেখেন যে ইনভেস্টিং অন দোজ এরিয়াস
the property the good enough now 30,000 40,000 50,000 still their yield is same as London yield because if you buy a property for 40,000 your rent not going to be 1,500 your rent will be 400 or 450 but if you calculate it still the yield is good but maybe if you have 10 properties there you're going to buy one property here the same price you can buy there for 10 properties. So if you calculate all together and if you can see what's the rent, yield, then it's still okay. But the yield is very important again, and how you structure it. That's the main thing. Because in a property market, is always there is a crash coming in, it's coming down and coming up. So you have to set it up properly that you don't fall on that and then you just come out. Because I know that a lot of people has been problem in 1995 and after 2008. The 2008 when it was very crunch, property value was really gone down. So it's the best time for landlords to buy the property.
And also, আমি ওটা জিজ্ঞেস আসনা আপনারে বলি গেছি sorry around 2008-2009 when you said you mostly started investing in properties আপনার mortgage কিলা আপনার এই সময় আসিল মার্কেট কিলা আপনার difficulties কোনো পাওয়া লাগছে
No, I didn't find any difficulties. কোনো difficult পাইছি না কারণ হলো first thing is your credit scoring has to be good and secondly you might not receive more than 75% loan to value. So you get 75% loan to value. So still the market was very good for getting mortgage.
আচ্ছা দর্শকরা যারা আমাকে মোবাইলে কল করছেন এই হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ নাম্বার শুধু হোয়াটসঅ্যাপের মেসেজের জন্য আপনারা যদি যে ল্যান্ডলাইন দেখতে পাচ্ছেন সেখানে কল করলে আমাদের সাথে কথা বলতে পারবেন কারণ এখানে লাইভে থাকা অবস্থায় তো আমি মোবাইল ফোন আনসার করতে পারবো না সুতরাং আপনারা ল্যান্ডলাইনে কল করুন প্লিজ এবং আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠান আপনাদের জন্যই আপনারা কল করলে আমরা উৎসাহিত হই আমাদের এটা আমাদেরকে প্রেরণা জাগায় সো যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে করতে পারেন আমরা এখন একটা ব্রেকে চলে যেতে হবে ব্রেকের পরে আমরা আবার ফিরে আসব আপনাদের কোনো উত্তর নিয়ে আসছি ব্রেকের পরে আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন ধন্যবাদ আসসালামু আলাইকুম সুধী দর্শক বিরতির পর আবারও আপনাদেরকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি ইয়োর ফাইন্যান্স উইথ মুহিম তানজিবে আজকে আমরা কথা বলছি ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল প্রোটেকশন নিয়ে এবং সাথে তো মর্গেজ এবং প্রপার্টি নিয়ে তো কথা থাকছেই আপনারা যদি কোনো কল করে আমাদের কোনো প্রশ্ন জিজ্ঞেস করতে চান যে স্টুডিওতে যে লাইভ নাম্বারটি আছে ল্যান্ডলাইন নাম্বারটি আছে সেখানে কল করে আমাদের সাথে কথা বলতে পারেন অথবা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে মেসেজ পাঠিয়ে আমাদের কাছে কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে সেগুলো করতে পারেন আমি বেশ কিছু প্রশ্ন পেয়েছি মেসেজ পেয়েছি আমি দেখে যদি এই অনুষ্ঠানে না পারি পরে হলেও আপনাদেরকে উত্তরগুলো দিয়ে দিব তো অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা সব সময় যেরকম করি আচ্ছা উই হ্যাভ এ কলার অন দ্য লাইন আসসালামু আলাইকুম কলার আসসালামু আলাইকুম কলার জি ডু ইউ হ্যাভ এনি কোয়েশ্চেনস ফর আস
Yeah. Can I hear?
Yes.
My question is, can I get mortgage if you are in country for a year?
Yes, thank you for your beautiful question. Sister, will answer your question as well. Would you like to answer?
Absolutely. If you have been in this country for a year, we have few lenders. They can accept your application, and the only thing is there are certain criteria we need to take into consideration. The lender we have normally, you know, if you are a British citizen, you can go up to 95% LTV. But if you are in this country or maybe on like a work permit visa or any visa, you can go up to 90% LTV.
Oh, very
so
good.
the answer is yes, you can buy a property if you are in this country.
So that is very good. So শুধু দর্শক যে আমাদের মর্গেজ এক্সপার্ট যেরকম বললেন যে দর্শকের প্রশ্ন ছিল যে উনি এই দেশে 1 বছর হয়েছে আসছেন অন্য কোনো দেশ থেকে হবে, তো এই অবস্থায় উনি মর্গেজ পাবেন কিনা, আনসার হচ্ছে পাবেন, এবং লেন্ডার আছে এরকম আপ টু 90% mortgage দিয়ে দিবে. We have another caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum caller.
Wa alaikum salam. I am Mohammed from Manchester. My question is, can I get mortgage if you are in country for a year?
For how many years?
I didn't get that.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
For a year.
For a year, okay. We got the same question, so I guess this question is everyone's mind now.
Yeah, it's very important because recently we have noticed, you know, people came here in this country.
Thank you.
Country for like, you know, especially on tier 2 visa work permits.
I see.
And I had a few clients recently. They asked me, you know, they were quite happy when I mentioned them. You can buy a property if you're in this country for 1 year.
Yes.
And we have a lender as well, so which is a quite good news for our you know, clients. And and it's a great opportunity. They can take advantage of that.
So দর্শক যেরকম শুনলেন, in recently we have influx of highly skilled migrants from other countries like you know, even from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and other countries as well. So আপনারা যদি অথবা ইউরোপিয়ান কান্ট্রি থেকেও অনেকেই এসেছেন, তো এই দেশে অনেকের ধারণা আছে যে এই দেশে আপনাকে দীর্ঘদিন ধরে থাকতে হবে ফর আপনাকে কোনো লেন্ডারের মর্গেজ দিতে হলে। আমাদের এক্সপার্ট যেরকম বললেন তা কিন্তু নয়। আপনি যদি এই দেশে 1 বছর থাকেন, 1 বছর থাকার পরে আপনি যদি মর্গেজের জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করেন কোনো ব্যাংকে, এরকম ব্যাংক আছে তারা কিন্তু আপনাকে 90% পর্যন্ত মর্গেজ দিয়ে দিবে, যেটা আগে সম্ভব ছিল না। এটা started only recently.
That's correct. Recently.
So you know, feel your boot. Very good question. So let's go. We don't have much time actually, you know, before you know the show will be over. Before we go any further, let's give us the mortgage market update. What happened in the past 2 weeks, and if there is any good news or bad news.
Yeah, absolutely. From last 2 weeks, the market is very unpredictable, but most of the news are good for our clients. I would say so. According to Halifax Price Index, the houses prices are has increased as compared to 1.5 to 1.1, and the average house prices in England is 288 and 688 pound currently. So, and we have noticed from last couple of weeks there are many like high street lenders, especially Halifax. They have introduced from, you know, like their interest only mortgages LTV from 75% to 85%. So slightly lenient on their criteria. And we have also noticed Skipton is a main lender as well. They have decreased in their interest rate for 2 years to 5 years initial fixed term rates. And they're also, we have other lenders like Vida Home Loan, as we know, they have slightly make some cuts in their buy to let up to 0.35%. And according to Lendbay, there has been increase of 33% for first time buyers, which is a very big number. And also, as I said, good news, it depends, you know, especially rental market, there is slightly a drop of there is a increase overall 6%, but as compared to last year there is a drop in rental market according to Zoopla. And also the most important you know, like factories regarding the inflation rate, because everything involves based on the inflation rate. So currently, as compared to last month, the inflation rate is 2.30.
Yes.
And last month it was 3.20. So as compared to last year, it's a quite huge difference. So last year was 8.70.
That's correct, yeah.
So overall, the average of standard average 2.83, the inflation rate is gone up to 2.30, which is a great news for everyone.
Fantastic, thank you, Sohail. And obviously this is a election year, so অনেক পলিটিক্যাল পার্টিগুলো তাদের ম্যানিফেস্টোতে কিন্তু অনেক ধরনের ঘোষণা নিয়ে আসছে, আমরা এই করব সেই করব। ইউনো টরি পার্টি দেখলাম তারা বলছে যে কারেন্ট যে আপনার স্টাম্প ডিউটি কার্ড তারা দিয়েছিল ওটা 2025-এ শেষ হয়ে যাওয়ার কথা ছিল, তারা বলছে তারা নির্বাচিত হলে এটা তারা এক্সটেন্ড করবে ইউনো ফর এ আনসার্টেন টাইম। আপনার লেবার পার্টি আবার they were announcing that they are going to bring back the mortgage guarantee scheme for first-time buyer. When a few years back when it was introduced, it actually helped a lot of first-time buyers. তারা আপনার 5% দিয়া ডিপোজিট দিয়া বাকি 20% এর গ্যারান্টি দিত গভর্নমেন্টে, 75% help to buy mortgage guarantee scheme একটা আছিল, এখন আর নাই। বাট লেবারে খরচ যে তারা পাওয়ার আইলে এটা আবার তারা ইন্ট্রোডিউস করবো। সো make it what you like of that. ইলেকশনের সময় তারা ঘোষণা দেয়, আসল কথা হইল গিয়া মর্গেজের রেট আর মর্গেজের অ্যাভেলেবিলিটি প্রবলেম নি না, প্রবলেম হইল গিয়া এনাফ গর নাই কিনবা লাগি। what is the problem? So that is a question, I guess. So make it what you would like. So thank you, Sohail, for a fantastic mortgage market update again. Coming back to you, Siddhi Rahman Bhai, challenges and solutions. Obviously every business has its challenges that you have to face. So what are the challenges you had to face, and how in your property investment journey, and how did you overcome them, if you could share?
Yes, I've been a lot of challenges.
Of course, life is full of challenges.
You can't go to that,
Of course.
Every business got challenges. So obviously, yes, we have a lot of challenges in property market, because there's always here and there tenants not paying the rent on time. There's a lot of rent is been building up. So there's a challenge if you have a mortgage to pay, which is you're relying on the rental. So basically, the way I do it, so to overcome this challenge, because I don't treat my property buy-to-let as a rental. I treat them as like a business.
Of course.
So whatever the rent I do get in my account, if the fee property doesn't pay, I did get the facing of these challenges, like one tenant didn't pay for 2 months, then the boiler is gone, so I have to go and change the boiler, £2,000, plus I haven't got mortgage for rent for 2 months from them. These sort of challenges you will get, but how are you going to overcome this?
Yes, sorry to interrupt. We have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Do you have a question for us?
Yes, please. My question is, I live in a flat, and I'm basically moving somewhere else.
Sure.
And I'll be renting outside, so I'm just going to rent out my property.
Yep.
So I was wondering, do I still have to let my mortgage lender know that I am renting it out? And if I do tell them, is it going to increase my mortgage?
No, they won't. Depend on obviously who the lender is. In every circumstances, you should let the lender know, and they will give you a permission to let. And with that permission to let letter, you should be able to usually let out for a certain period of time or a short period of time. It could be 6 months, it could be a year. And once that period expires, if you are still not ready to move back into that property, then you can always ask them to extend. Again, the emphasis here is depending who the lender is. So in your case, you should talk to the lender.
Halifax.
Yeah, so you should talk to the lender, and let them know of your intention and explain them your circumstances, and I'm sure they will look into this favorably. Last thing you want to do is, without telling the lender, you let the property out, and then obviously you are in a bigger trouble, right? So I would advise you to talk to the lender, and in every circumstances these lenders, if you be honest and upfront with them, they will look into your situation favorably, and they give permission to let normally. Does that answer your question, my brother?
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Please do keep watching the show, and thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, we were talking about.
So that's the way I treat it as a business. So, I mean, these sort of challenges will come to the property business anyway, rental property. So you have to make a plan and make a structure that if anything happens, what you're going to do and how you're going to maintain it. So that's why I grow my portfolio as a business, and I have to see if few of them don't pay the rent. At least I got the rental market, rental is coming, the rental turnover is coming in, so they can cover everything up, all the other payments and all that. So, and also at least when you do a property business, you have to have a sinking fund aside, because it could happen anything with the property, which is you need this. So some people, they don't do that. They keep it very low. They're going to big something come in, so they're very struggling on that. So this is what has to be.
Yes.
When you run a business,
tenant is not paying the rent.
Yeah, that's it.
But you have to pay the mortgage.
So you have
to just to interrupt, ami din ko ek boiner gosta ki ek viewer amra dekha call korson tenant rent den na kori thain mono korson je thain mortgage na dile hoibo. But what happened is that property got repossessed.
Repossessed, that's it.
So it is your responsibility, because you are the borrower. Is it a property tenant dok na dok afne kintu rent mortgage
it says on your offer letter anyway. Then whatever happens, you have to pay your mortgage. So the mortgage company will not consider that. So this is how you have to do it. You have to keep your sinking fund at least to keep on going, and also you treat like a business. So this is how you're supposed to. But anybody whoever coming into the property market now, they have to research every single angle, because it's not something like before, because we got a lot of regulation in the properties from the government, and you have to meet every regulations. Otherwise your insurance will be expired, invalid, because of you haven't followed that. So all of this has to be done. So anybody wants to go into the buy-to-let business, they have to meet all those things. So they have to be very careful. And anybody buying any property, to make something, they have to buy a cheaper properties and make them up and then put it into the rental market. But you have to buy at least, if you can't do it 30,000 pounds, at least you make it 10,000 pounds less from the market value. Then you
buying
10,000 pounds you made on the buying.
Buying on obviously below market value is a very good point to start from. So obviously you are on profit on day one. Afne zur dia hoiso on education or research or
research is very important.
And treat this as a business. If it is your business, if it is making money, why wouldn't you look after it? Why wouldn't you want to do it properly? Thank you, Janab Bhai, Siddiq Rahman Janab Bhai. Coming back to you again, inshallah. Before I go to Suhail, let's talk a bit more about protection. আমি শুধু দর্শকদের এটা জানিয়ে দিতে চাই যে আমাদের এই শোটা কিন্তু রিপিট হয় ওয়েডনেসডে মর্নিং। সো ওয়েডনেসডে 9:30 এটা রিপিটে যায় ইন দ্য মর্নিং। আপনারা যদি কেউ মিস করে থাকেন আজকের শো পুরোটা, কালকে সকালে এটা দেখে নিতে পারেন আপনারা। এছাড়া সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াতে ওইগুলো তো যাই, ফেসবুকে এবং ইউটিউবে আপনারা সেখানেও দেখে নিতে পারেন। সো সোহেল, coming back to you, we talked about life insurance in the last segment. Critical illness policy, what is it, why is it important, what does it cover?
Critical illness is another very important element. Critical illness normally implements when any individual has like a health condition. For example, God forbidden, health is very unpredictable. Like for example, main like illness cover like cancer, heart attack, strokes. So unfortunately when it happens, so critical illness providers pay you the lump sum for that to cover wherever you
treatment cost
and wherever you want to cover. So there are so many like various
and also it's so important because obviously years back cancer was like in other words it was death, right?
Yes.
If somebody has cancer, they're as good as dead. But now it's not the case. Medical science has progressed so much. So if somebody has cancer, it doesn't mean that they will die.
They will die, exactly.
If somebody has cancer, if they have a critical illness policy, the policy pays out. With that money, then if person can pay off their mortgage if they want, they can do treatment privately if they want, or they can spend on any other
activity. So it's very important to have critical illness insurance, because it's as I said, it's unpredictable, and if someone has, for example, while at work, and it's
and statistically, sorry to cut you off again. They used to say, I'm talking about only 10 years ago even, 1 in every 4 of us will have cancer. Now, 1 in every 2 of us. So between you and me, 1 person will have cancer. See how scary the thought is. So that is, this is why critical illness policy is very important.
Very important, and as to meet your standard of living, if someone is unable to work and not going through a tough situation, at least their family won't be vulnerable. They can cover their day-to-day expense, and until they are fully recovered, and then they can just carry on with their normal life. So
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Quickly, briefly, we have only a few minutes left. Family income benefit, what is it?
Family income benefit, same thing, like for example, if someone is unable to work and got any sort of injury, the family income benefit, it pays you monthly based on your income, whatever your cover is. It's based on your mainly the premium based on your age, job, or some other health circumstances as well.
So as a person, I died or I'm ill, in whatever situation, how the policy was set, it will, the policy proceed will pay out to my family or to myself on a monthly basis or yearly basis. However, sorry, we have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Hello, walaikum salam.
Do you have any questions? After কোনো question আছে নি আমরা লাগি?
জি আছে.
জি প্লিজ খোকা।
একটু বলেও কমেন।
জি আমরা শুনলাম আপনার খোকা।
জি আমি কি জানতে পারি কি কালচারাল প্রপার্টি যারা কালচার ট্যাক্স দিয়ে থাকেন, ওরা কি গড় কি বাই করতে পারবেন? আপনি একটু বুঝিয়ে বলবেন আমার কি?
জি কাউন্সিলর প্রপার্টি, আপনি যদি কাউন্সিলর প্রপার্টিতে থাকেন, আপনি সেটা বাই করতে পারবেন কিনা? দ্য আনসার ইজ ইয়েস, ইউ ক্যান। আপনি বাই করতে পারবেন। এ ব্যাপারে আপনার কাউন্সিলের সাথে কথা বলতে হবে। রাইট টু বাইয়ের আন্ডারে কাউন্সিলের প্রপার্টি কিনা যায়, বাট এটা ডিপেন্ড করে আপনার কাউন্সিলের সাথে কী রকম এগ্রিমেন্ট আছে, কতদিন ধরে আপনি প্রপার্টিতে থাকছেন, এই সমস্ত বিষয়।
আমার ফ্ল্যাটে তো আমি আছি 2010 আমি ঘর পাইছিলাম। জি
তো অনেক দিন হয়ে গেছে আপনার। আপনি কাউন্সিলর লগে মাথুকা মাতিয়া তারা কোয়েশ্চেনটা করুকা, ইনশাল্লাহ একটা সদুত্তর পাইবা। ঠিক আছে না? যে এই ব্যাপারে এটা তো একটা ডিফারেন্ট কোয়েশ্চন, টেকাউকা বেশি দেখানি লাগে কিনা আপনি পয়লা মেক শিওর করতে হইবা কাউন্সিলে আপনার প্রপার্টি কি বেচবো কিনা। ঠিক আছে, আপনি ওখান থেকে স্টার্ট করোকা, দেখো আগে বেচে কিনা। যদি তারা ব্যস্ত আগ্রহী হয় তখন আপনি ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল ব্যাপারে যাইতে পারবা। ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ, ধন্যবাদ। জি সো জনাব ভাই, কুইকলি you talked about research, education, and treating it businessly. How does one keep up to date about property trends? After অনেক legislation আয়, চেঞ্জ হয়, আজকে যেটা ভ্যালিড কালকে এটা ভ্যালিড নাই, একজনে কিলা এই ব্যাপারে আপ টু ডেট থাকতে পারবো?
আপনি যখন বিজনেস বাইটলেট বিজনেসে থাকবা, when you are in a বাইটলেট business, obviously you'll be look for that, what is changing, what is coming. You can't sit down and just wait for them to tell you. You have to find out what is changing. You have to go to the council meetings. You have to go. There are a lot of things you have to do. Evening, because I go to a lot of meetings in the council meetings, the housing department. I go there, so I know, and they update me every time. I was registered with them, so you have to keep registered with them. They know you are a landlord, so they're going to update you every moment. So I don't
we
think
are
so
last in the right in the last few seconds.
Yeah.
Quickly in 10 seconds, any last remarks? Any last remarks? Kichu hoitas any last 10 seconds?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I like your like this program. You're doing every 2 weeks or
every 2 weeks, every other Tuesday.
And it's very good people know about it, what they need. You're getting people who knows about the property, and your program is very helpful, and is for the people who wants to be in the property market. Even if I look at I learn a lot of things from you as well, because you get
thank you so much, General Bhai. Thank you our guest Sohail Khan as well. শুধু দর্শক, সো আমাদের জনাব ভাই যেরকম বলছেন, আমাদের এই শো প্রতি এভরি আদার টিউসডে প্রচারিত হয়। আজকে আমাদের শো দেখার জন্য আপনাদেরকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। আবারও আপনাদেরকে আমন্ত্রণ জানিয়ে আজকের মতো শেষ করছি। ধন্যবাদ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।